Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy. I am your host today, and I am joined by Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
You weren't here last week, were you? Not last week. Week before?
Week before. I wasn't. Where was I?
I think you were in a spa or
I
something.
think I was on leave doing something, yes.
Oh, Sue loves a spa.
I do love a spa. I can't beat a spa.
And today we have a super special host. Do you want to host or guest, Vicky?
I'll guest.
Okay.
Today.
We are joined by Vicky Crompton from Peterborough City Council. Vicky, what is your job title?
So my full job title is Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Partnership Manager for Peterborough.
So we are going to explore that a bit later because I have no idea what that means. And we're going to talk to Vicky about all things domestic abuse and all of the interventions and the support Peterborough City Council are providing. But before that, we are going to do our rundown of what has been going on at Peterborough Women's Aid. And I'm going to save the best till last because we have a very, very exciting announcement, don't we?
We do.
We do.
And it's been crazy busy as ever.
It's been crazy busy. It is. So we had our first cake and bake sale.
We did.
In partnership with Children of Adam.
And it was a huge success.
Yeah, we raised over £700. So thank you to everyone that came to that and bought delicious goodies. I literally fed off that for a week. Honestly, it was to die for. There were like biryanis and samosas, and then everyone made these beautiful cakes.
Yeah, I'm quite disappointed that I didn't get there.
I know. And then afterwards, there were a few cakes left over. And my youngest, George, said, let's do a bake sale outside our house, which we did. We had people queuing.
You're joking.
Outside our front door to get cake.
So how did you advertise this? Just in the village where you live? Or?
What I did was I put it on his football WhatsApp group, his rugby WhatsApp group, and the school WhatsApp group. And he raised £125 in half an hour.
That's amazing.
And we had people knocking on our door after we'd finished.
To see if you had any left?
I just hid on the sofa.
That's incredible.
I know. So
well done, George.
I know. Over £700. So thank you very much to Children of Adam who supported us with this. So, yeah.
And everyone that baked cakes and provided food and that, because I've heard
of
lots of conversations going on about how amazing it all was.
We had lots of donations going on. So we also have some more fundraising activities. On the 1st of November, we have our Peterborough Women's Aid Charity Ball. It's at the Holiday Inn in Peterborough. It's going to be a fantastic event. You have 7 days to buy a ticket, anyone out there who wants one. You can go on our website or on our Facebook.
It's a great night. We always have a really good time, don't we? Food, entertainment, just a real good feel about it.
We had the best night last time, didn't we? And we raised over £14,000.
Yeah. And it makes a massive difference to our services and what we can offer our clients.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 14 grand, like give an example, is the rent completely covering our women's centre for a year. It's keeping women able to access a community space, and we roughly have around 3,000 visits a year. So please go on our website or our Facebook and buy a ticket to the ball. Ticket sales close this time next week, and they're cheap with chips, I think. For what you get on the night.
For what you get, they are
they're
definitely
really cheap. So we've got the ball, and then we've got the Great Eastern Run.
Yeah, that's not far away now, is it?
That is 3 weeks away.
How's the training going, Mandy?
You're not running soon?
No, I'm not running, Vicky.
I'm running dressed as a flamingo. Now, there's been a slight hitch with my costume.
There has, hasn't there?
Because we didn't realise that the costume that I've put all over socials and whatever is it's a blow-up flamingo. So you have to run with a battery-powered fan, and there's literally no way of there's no way of doing it. So we are improvising, and we've bought one of those flamingos that you sit in the swimming pool with. You know, on like a
ring,
a flamingo, like a ring, like a big flamingo ring. So I'm going to get in it. It's going to be strapped to me. And then I'm going to attempt to run 13 miles with that on.
Well, that'll be interesting, if nothing else.
Your pink running gear.
I've got pink running gear, yes. And I'm going to have pink face paints.
I mean, you were struggling to run in the blow-up one. I think you're going to struggle as well in that one.
Well, I was struggling last year with just a butterfly cape on and a few balloons, wasn't I? So
it'll all be fine.
It will all be fine. And if that is not worth sponsoring me £1,
Definitely.
£5, £10, you know, surely.
Absolutely.
And that is all on our Facebook and our website, my Just Giving link. So please sponsor. I think I'm about halfway there with my target. Really want to hit £1,000 this year. So please sponsor me. And then we have the return of a really successful fundraising event, don't we? Do you want to tell us a bit about it, Sue?
We do. So this is organised by a lady who has helped us a number of times in the past on various different bits and pieces. And she had this amazing idea a couple of years ago to do 12 miles for Christmas. So her and a group of friends and family managed to plot out this 12 miles around Peterborough, which they pick a day and basically walk this 12-mile route, even though I think last time they had a bit of a detour and it was nearer 13 by the time they'd finished. So, it's a really good fun event. People can drop in, drop out, do as little or as much as they like. Really light-hearted atmosphere. I think they sing and dance probably along the way as well. So, yeah, that's on our GoFundMe page. Is that the right thing?
It's on Facebook at the moment.
Yeah.
And then there is a Just Giving page.
Just Giving, sorry.
Yeah, there's a Just Giving page for 12
and
miles
that where you can see all the participants and sponsor them, which
Yes.
would be amazing.
And if you've got a business and you want to sponsor a mile, we had some businesses do this last time. They just gave like £100 for like mile 5, £150 for mile 7. Again, you can reach out to us through our Facebook page or our website.
That's it. And like I say, you can come along and join in or just sponsor one of the participants, which would be amazing.
Yeah. Are we ready for big announcement?
Oh, do we need a drum roll?
Can you hear? I don't know if people can hear this. So we are super delighted that we have secured a contract to supply outreach support in Peterborough, and this is funded by Peterborough City Council, and we have guaranteed funding for 3 years. And it means that on October the 1st, we are going to be launching the Peacock Project. So do you want to explain what outreach is?
So outreach works with people within the community, within the Peterborough area. So basically there's an advice line so they can ring up, get a bit of advice, a bit of guidance, or if they need short-term or long-term support, they can then access that project. They'll be allocated a key worker, and that key worker, will contact them regularly to provide emotional and practical support while they come to terms, with the situation they're in or the situation they have been in, and sort of offer some guidance and some signposting to get the help and support they need to move forward in their lives.
And this for us is, really exciting, isn't it? Because, and Vicky's here as our commissioner, and we're going to go into a bit more detail about her role in this. But for us as a charity, to have a guaranteed three years worth of funding means that we can start planning, we can get bigger. And this project kind of covers, to be really clear, it covers all genders.
Yeah.
So we're supporting male, female, anyone that's going through transition as well. And we, like Sue said, it's emotional, it's practical support, it's safety planning, risk assessment, support in the court, support with benefits, housing, everything that comes along with someone that has experienced domestic abuse. And we're also going to be running the Freedom Programme and the Own My Life programme.
That's right.
So we're super chuffed that we've been awarded the contract. It really does feel like we can really, engage with as many victims of abuse in Peterborough now because we have the funding to be able
that's
to do
it.
that.
And like you say, the Freedom Programme and the Own My Life programme are two huge programmes that are available nationally. to raise awareness of domestic abuse for people who have been subjected to it, the impacts of it, what it looks like, to give you those red flags to look out for in the future, and give you the tools to be able to move forward.
And we have the lovely Linda on our show next time from Living Keys to talk a little bit more in detail about the Freedom Programme and how you enrol on it, and she is going to be facilitating that for us. So, the Peacock Project, named by the clients that we already work with. So we're really keen at PWA that we have, we work with our clients and survivors to see what their needs are, rather than us thinking, oh, we know what's best for people, because we absolutely don't. We ask our clients we ask them to come up with the name for the project. Yeah. And here we are.
And like you say, all the services that we provide are very much client-led, depending on, and it's very much on an individual basis for what that client needs at that time.
Yeah. So, extremely chuffed. We're going to talk to Vicky about the whole process of funding and how it comes to us and what her role is in a minute. But we have a question of the week. And I thought of this question when it wasn't sunny outside, but it's really sunny outside today.
So when the weather had started to get a bit chillier, and you would go moving on to comfort food, weren't you?
And obviously, most of our questions are around food, because we like food.
Does seem to be quite a regular thing, doesn't it?
It does. So the question of the week is, what is your favourite thing to have on toast? Now, you can call us on 01733 602 133. It can be a quick call. You could just say the word cheese and put the phone down. It's fine. Or you can text us on 074 119 1062 or comment on our Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. So what is your favourite thing to have on toast? Sue.
Oh, there's so many things. How do you pick one thing? Toast is just so versatile.
We could do a whole show about toast.
About what you can have on toast.
Are you a sweet or a savoury girl?
Normally sweet, but when it comes to toast, I'm more savoury. So on toast, it would have to be baked beans with cheese on the top.
I had that for my tea last night.
Did you?
With loads and loads of black pepper on top. It's really good.
Nice.
Oh, fancy.
So when I was thinking about this question, I instantly regretted it, right? Because I feel like I need to break this down into 3 sections.
Oh, here we go. Mandy can't give one simple answer.
I need to be looking at breakfast toast. And breakfast toast for me is a lot of butter and thick cut marmalade.
Oh, okay.
Marmalade.
Yeah. And then lunch toast. I'm going a bit posh here, and I'm not posh, as you can tell. But lunch toast would be avocado and smoked salmon.
Really? Now you are sounding really posh.
I know, but I really do enjoy
with good
it.
old cheese on toast.
Hang on, I got to evening.
Oh, sorry.
And then evening is cheese on toast, but I'm going to say something controversial. In the air fryer.
Oh.
So do you toast the bread and then put the cheese on and then put it in the air fryer, or do you just put the cheese on the bread and put the whole thing in the air fryer? These are the things we need to know.
They
the
are.
latter. You put...
Really?
Yes, and it toasts it and it bubbles.
Does it still toast the bread?
Cheese on toast in the air fryer.
That's my tea sorted.
I'm going to have to try
It
that.
is delicious.
I wouldn't have thought it would have toasted.
No. It's lovely.
How long does it take?
Or maybe I did toast it. Now you've got me thinking. No, I don't toast it before. I just put it in.
You literally just slice the cheese.
Yeah.
Sliced or grated.
Oh, grated.
Grated
you get
cheese.
more coverage.
Slap it on the bread.
Yeah.
In the air fryer.
Yeah. I put a bit of onion on mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
About a bit of Marmite on the top.
Ooh.
I don't do Marmite.
Right, Vicky, what's your favourite?
Well, I've just been thinking about it, and I like a crunchy peanut butter, because only weirdos would like a smooth peanut butter.
I like a
Sorry
crunchy
for anyone
peanut.
out there.
Oh, I don't do peanut butter.
But do you know what's really underrated? Tomato on toast with salt on.
Oh, I'm just going to say I'm not a fan of the tomato.
Do you not like tomato?
See, I like to see cheese and tomato I could do. Not sure tomato on its
Tomato
own.
on toast.
With lots of salt, though.
Loads of salt
Yeah.
and butter.
I mean, I do enjoy pate as well.
Oh, yeah, like a bit of pate.
Yeah.
I quite like horseradish sauce on toast.
Oh, yeah, I love horseradish sauce.
We could go on forever, couldn't we?
We could, actually.
Just
Okay.
name a condiment and put it on toast, frankly. Not ketchup, though. That would be odd.
Not ketchup on toast.
Salad cream on toast.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Is that vinegary?
Gone a bit
loveliness?
wayward now.
Yeah. Okay. Focus, everyone.
I'm taking it too far.
Okay, so half the show's gone and we're just talking about toast. What is your favourite thing to have on toast? Call us 01733 602 133. Text on 074 111. No, sorry, that was weird. 074 119 1062 or comment on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. We've already had a comment.
Have we?
Oh,
Go on.
controversial, and I love cream cheese and avocado on toast.
Oh, no, she's right.
Oh,
That's
okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Never tried that.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Or
And-
smoked salmon.
And she likes baked beans and cheese.
Good choice.
And
Oh, so she couldn't make one
she
choice
broke
either.
it down as well. And likes a bit of jam.
Yeah.
Got jam, didn't
Butter
we?
and jam.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
More butter or more jam?
More jam.
Yeah, I'm more butter. Love butter. Right, okay. So we are joined today by Vicky Crompton from Peterborough City Council. Vicky, can you give us your job title again?
Yes, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Partnership Manager.
And what does that mean?
Well, it means lots of things, really. Depends on the day of the week. But essentially, one of my jobs, the main part of my job, is to see how I can get all the services working together in the system so that our response to domestic abuse and sexual violence is as joined up as it can be. So it's working not only with the City Council, but with specialist services, the police, probation, all of those organisations, so that we can respond better together, because not one agency can solve this on their own.
Perfect. So we know, like at PWA, for example, we do work closely with the police, we work closely with Living Keys, social care, all of that stuff. So it's to make sure that everyone is working in partnership for that victim. So there's like a joined up approach.
Yeah, for the person that's subjected to that abuse and to their children, but also making sure that there's a response to the person perpetrating that abuse to make sure that they're held to account as much as possible. So it's looking at all those different elements and all those different pieces of the system, because it's like a big jigsaw, and the more aligned we can make it, the better.
And Vicky, you also, not you personally, but Peterborough City Council also commission services.
Yeah, so we've
What
got...
does that mean?
So it means buying, it's just
Okay.
shopping.
Okay.
So commissioning is a posh word for shopping. So if you wanted a new pair of jeans, you know what your jeans you want, you know what sort of size you want you want them to look like. And then so what you do is you go to the market and you say, I've got this much money, tell me about your jeans. I don't want a skirt, I want jeans. But that's all done after we've reviewed the whole area, looked about what do we need, how much money have we got, and then we put a plan together. That then goes out, that's called a tender. And then local agencies or agencies further afield will say, oh, we can do that and we'll charge you this much money. And then what we have to do is mark it, a bit like an interview process where people have to answer questions, but it's on paper. So you do a bit of an interview process. You evaluate it, and then you choose your chosen provider, which for the Peacock project and our outreach work was Peterborough Women's Aid, and we were really happy with the response we received to that, and we're really looking forward to that service.
So you have, where does the money come from? Is it from central government? It kind of filters down to Peterborough City Council, and they say pick the best people to do the best job in your area for domestic abuse.
Yeah, so basically all of public money comes from the government in some way. It may be different grants at different times and different amounts, but part of it will be City Council funding, so they have to decide how much do we spend on social care and how much do we spend on this and how much do we spend on that. So there's lots of difficult decisions, but yeah, they then entrust us to make those decisions, but within a framework of the law. So like as much as I like Peterborough Women's Aid, I can't just give you cash. So it doesn't work like that. We have to go through proper processes and make sure that the best person gets the work, essentially.
And how did you get into a job such as this?
Wow, that's an interesting question. So I used to work in a drug service, so about I'm clearly not old enough to have been working 20 years ago, but a very long time ago. Obviously. And then I got into the, so within Cambridgeshire, I was responsible for commissioning drug and alcohol services in Cambridgeshire for many, many years. And then one day they said, oh, you're also responsible for domestic abuse. This was about 2010. So I was like, oh, thanks. And then so since 2010, we're doing domestic abuse in Cambridgeshire. And then it was across Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, and now I just do Peterborough and domestic abuse and sexual violence. So I think lots of us have found our careers through very wibbly wobbly paths that we've never even expected. But it's a really interesting job because people are in such different circumstances, and it does involve all of those partnership agencies. Much like drugs and alcohol are really complex as well. So that's really interesting. And you never seem to know it all, do you? You can't learn all about it, because as soon as you think you've learned everything, there's stuff you don't know. You don't know how much you don't know. So, it's really interesting. And then so I've been at Peterborough City Council, just doing that smaller area since around April time.
And this was all due to the split, wasn't it? The split in... I tell you what, Sue, I get confused with all of this.
I wouldn't
and I should know.
The split in the council.
So basically, the councils worked together and less together as time went on. So what we've got now is two very separate, Peterborough City Council and Cambridgeshire County Council. They were always separate, but then they were working together more closely on things than others. And yes, so it was trying to make it clearer what was Peterborough and what was Cambridgeshire. But we still work really, really closely with our colleagues in Cambridgeshire, because actually it's a lot easier working together than it is working in isolation.
And we know we have the lovely Shabina as head of the council in Peterborough, who is a close friend of Peterborough Women's Aid. So we're very, very happy about that. So, Vicky, tell us about, before I talk about this, I'm going to give a little bit of a trigger warning, or a warning to people that might be listening with youngsters around. You might want to turn it down, you might want to catch up with this on YouTube or Facebook at a later date, just because we are going to be talking about the most... the worst case scenario, I suppose, what happens in an abusive relationship. So we are going to be talking about domestic homicide. So first of all, Vicky, first of all, tell us what a domestic homicide is, I suppose.
So if we're thinking about domestic homicide reviews, so domestic homicide is where someone gets killed by a family member or by their partner or their ex-partner. So it's not necessarily someone who lives in the same house, although that would be domestic. And in terms of a domestic homicide review, so they were brought in, so there was a murder of a lady and her son, and her brother, Frank Mullane, basically campaigned to find out more about how did it get to that point, and looking at the agencies and could they have responded differently. That was about many, many years ago. So from 2011, we have to do domestic homicide reviews where someone gets killed, where they were related or it was a family member. And then from 2016, they're still called domestic homicide reviews, but they're about to be called domestic abuse related death reviews, is where someone has taken their own life because of the abuse that they were suffering. So where we think they've taken their own life and it was driven by the abuse they were suffering, we would also do a domestic homicide review in those cases. So what that is we'd get an independent chair in, and then all the agencies involved would look at their involvement in that case. What do they think they could have done better? Where do they think there might have been missed opportunities? But also what they did well in that case. So sometimes you can do all the things that you try to do, but still the worst can happen. So nothing's ever foolproof. So then they would produce a report, and all of the domestic homicide review reports are available publicly on the Peterborough City Council website.
So you oversee for the whole of Peterborough?
So I used to oversee Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, and now that's done in Cambridgeshire for Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, but I will sit on the panels for Peterborough now.
And this happens right the way around the country?
So it happens in all of the country. And so across Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, there are generally around between about 5 and 7 a year that we'll do a domestic homicide review for.
And so this is really all about learning, isn't it? About partnerships that have worked with that victim. It's about learning what did they do well, what they could have done better, and then taking that forward into their own agency to hopefully prevent stuff like this happening again. Do you feel that, so you talk there about people dying by suicide because of the domestic abuse that they have suffered. Do you think that we pick all of them up?
I don't think we always know. So a lot of the time people will be subjected to abuse that we don't even know about because they haven't come to our services. So if they then die by suicide but no one knows of it's domestic abuse, so obviously we can't pick up what we don't know. So there will be some that we don't pick up. But we pick up what we can. So where an agency or a family member says this is what has happened, we can do that domestic homicide review for that case. So yes, we won't pick every single one up because we won't know about every single one, but we'll do what we can.
So if they've accessed local services or the police or through probation and everything, and domestic abuse has been mentioned.
That hits the threshold for doing those reviews.
Okay, so we are joined by Vicky Crompton from Peterborough City Council, and we are talking all things domestic abuse. Quick ad break and then we will be back.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Busy Bunnies Nurseries is where children grow and thrive. It's where your little ones will enjoy expert care, engaging activities and a warm, welcoming environment. Busy Bunnies Nurseries also provide great learning experiences in exceptional indoor and outdoor settings. So when looking for a loving, fun and safe place for your child, visit at 627 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, now with additional parking, or online at busybunniesnurseries.co.uk. Call 01733 897799 to book your visit today. Busy Bunnies Nurseries, where children hop into a brighter future.
Craving a heavenly escape in the heart of Peterborough? Heavenly Desserts is the perfect place to relax with friends, unwind with family, or for casual meetings with colleagues. You can now indulge in our delicious brunch menu with mouth-watering savoury delights, served from 11 a.m. every day. Visit us today at Cowgate, Peterborough, the go-to spot for good times and great company. Where else but Heavenly's? Party packages available for birthdays and other celebrations. Also available to order through Just Eat, Deliveroo and Uber Eats.
Every successful business starts with a single step: the courage to begin. At the Progressive Business Network, we believe your idea could change your life. Each month, we bring dreamers and doers together to inspire, to share, and to spark action. Your time is now. Join the Progressive Business Network. Visit progressivebusinessnetwork.co.uk today. Progressive Business Network, where ambition meets opportunity.
Turkish Restaurant Peterborough. The name says it all. It's the restaurant in Peterborough that serves amazingly mouth-watering halal Turkish cuisine, including delicious kuneva and baklava desserts. At 1253 Borges Boulevard, Turkish Restaurant Peterborough's the place to dine with family and friends, or order for collection to enjoy at home. Call 01733 307076 or view online at turkishrestaurantpeterborough.com.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
It's healthy, nutritional and halal. It's The Lads, your first choice for burgers, pittas, wraps and flame grilled lamb chops and peri-peri chicken. Now with 5 fantastic new flavours, plus sides, grilled salads and milkshakes too. Open daily from 11:30 until 11 p.m. Call in at 15 Cowgate in Peterborough. Order for collection online at thelads.co.uk or by calling Peterborough 562287 or place your Lads delivery order at ubereats.co.uk.
listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy and I am joined by Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Vicky Crompton from Peterborough City Council.
Hello.
And just before the break, we were talking about domestic homicides. So I just want to have a little bit of a warning that we are talking about the most extreme parts of domestic abuse. So if you have little ones listening, you may want to turn this down and catch up later. But also, more importantly, if you feel that you need support following the conversations we're having today, you can reach out to us on 01733 894 964 or visit our website www.peterboroughwomen's8.co.uk. To lighten the mood a bit, the question of the week is, what do you like on toast? We've had a real debate on this.
I'm now changing my mind, you know.
And Sue's changing her mind. I mean, yeah.
I've gone from baked beans and cheese to I'm now thinking I like a good poached egg.
Oh,
now you're talking.
I generally don't like a poached egg.
Do you not?
I only like the yellow bit of egg. Never eat the white bit.
Well, that's a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I know. It's just so slimy, isn't it?
It depends how you cook it.
Oh, no. 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 So we've had Anne. Anne came through on Facebook with a bit of cream cheese and avocado. And we've had Gina come through on Facebook. Gina is just simple here. Gina has just put, I love Marmite.
Oh, no.
No?
She's right.
No.
You don't like Marmite, Sue?
No.
Do you like Marmite? I like Marmite.
No,
with
like
a lot of butter. But,
Could you just scrap the toast bit and just have butter and Marmite?
Wasn't it potatoes that you had a...
Mash.
Mash, that was it.
What, you don't
mash,
like mashed
now mash and butter that you're now
mash.
obsessed
I have
with.
mash with everything. Curry, lasagna,
Vicky's face says it all. She's like, really?
I have mash with everything. I love it. It's my favourite food.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
Everyone has their quirks.
Yeah. Mash.
Mandy's a mash and lots of butter.
So, we spoke earlier about the Peacock project, and we're delighted that we're going to launch that on the 1st of October, and it's our community outreach project in Peterborough supporting victims of domestic abuse of all genders. And Sue rightly pointed out to me that what I didn't say before the break is that the Peacock project will support you if you are in the relationship or out of the relationship or planning to leave. There is absolutely no pressure from us. You can access our support at any point. And if you just want some emotional support whilst you continue to be in that relationship, even though it might not be your choice, the Peacock project will support you. So it's really important that everyone is aware that we support all victims of abuse, regardless of what is happening in their relationship. Oh.
Something exciting, come on.
By the toast.
Tell us.
So we have Georgina Parrott, who has commented on our Facebook, and she's been really specific with the bread type.
Oh.
See, this could go on and on.
Oh, this could go on a whole different direction.
So Georgina has put sourdough with smoked salmon and poached egg and avocado.
It's fancy.
Oh, she's gone posh
fancy,
as well.
actually.
That is fancy, but that sounds
That's
good.
Lunch.
That's definitely a lunch.
I don't know. I would say it's brunch. You're right, it's brunch. Thank you, Georgina. Okay, so we've been talking to Vicky about domestic homicides. So, Vicky, can you tell us a little bit more about, so you've said about intimate partners, past and previous.
Yes.
Are any other family members covered by the term domestic homicide?
Yes, so any relative. So if someone's killed by their son or their daughter or their father, that would count as a domestic homicide in a domestic homicide review. So we look at all of those sorts of dynamics.
And are there, this might be a silly question, but are there like specific age ranges or nationalities, especially for the DHRs that we've had in Peterborough?
So when we look at our DHRs, we sometimes think that the majority of people that are killed by someone else, it'd be a domestic homicide, would be quite a young, say, girl in her woman in her 20s, in a romantic relationship. What we tend to find is the average age is around mid-50s, so early to mid-50s for the victim and the perpetrator, which is much older than we would expect.
Yep.
So certainly, I'm trying to think across the county, we had a man in his 90s and a man in his 80s, both took their own lives following abuse from their wives that had gone on for many, many, many years. In terms of nationalities, until recently, so our first few domestic homicides, more than half of the women that were in our domestic homicide reviews were Lithuanian women. And so what that enabled us to do was put that case together that we needed a specific domestic abuse advocate, which would deal with the high-risk cases, but also a domestic abuse outreach worker, both of whom are Lithuanian, so they understand the culture, but they also speak the language. And we still have those posts, and we haven't had a death from that community for a few years now, which is good. I think 2021.
That's amazing. Like you say, just having that targeted support can have that impact and make the difference.
What we can do with the domestic homicide reviews, because they're over Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, you can sort of look at themes. So one of the big themes was about people that are caring for a relative. So that carer relationship as well, looking at that with the older people. So there was lots of work done across Cambridgeshire and Peterborough to bring domestic abuse into their policies and things like that, so that actually if someone is a carer, they are thinking about, when they have their carers assessment, they are thinking about domestic abuse in that age range as well. So I think there's usually a limited amount you can do on one report, but once you get that collective picture of what might be happening, you can really make changes across organisations.
I'm just thinking about what you said about the Lithuanian workers that now domestic abuse agencies has. Peterborough Women's Aid has one. It's chicken and egg, isn't it? Because it's kind of like these deaths happened, but then to highlight the problem and then prevent them going forward, which I suppose there's absolutely nothing that can be done about that. So after a DHR, you said they are the findings, I suppose, are published. They're published on Peterborough City Council website, and then I'm guessing that people have to do what the recommendations are, and then how does that work?
So what will happen is each agency, so it's someone who's not related directly to the case in each agency, so it might be their quality assurance department, for example. It would be a different department to the one that worked with that person. They will have a look at the case, they'll look at their own internal policies, they'll look at what happened. So actually, did something happen that went against current policies? Was this about one person that didn't follow what they should have been doing, or actually is this something that they need to consider for the whole organisation to change? So those people will identify what happened in the case, and they will be the ones generally that highlight where their learning is. And quite often what will happen is actions will be put in place as soon as they're identified by those agencies. So we don't wait until the report's published before we start doing the actions. Their agencies will already have started a lot of that work. So it could be about, do we have enough training and awareness of male victims or of older victims? There's all sorts of things that can happen, but those things should, in an ideal world, start happening as soon as they're identified, not wait until the report's published.
Okay. So, domestic homicide reviews, very much about learning, very much finding out about what agency is right, what agency is wrong, and then they have the action plan and we improve. Are the number of DHRs going up or down in Peterborough, or stable?
They're fairly static, but quite often the number of DHRs that are referred through for a DHR will depend on identification. So the more we know about it, so it looked like they went up a few years ago, but actually were they going up or were they just being referred in more effectively? And that's one thing with domestic abuse, we never really know, do we? We don't know, is the problem getting worse, or is it just that we're publicising and we have those services in place for people to report it? And quite a lot of the time we don't know what we don't know. So I think the numbers did go up, especially when we were looking at suicides as well, and people were getting better at referring it in. But yeah, it's fairly static. It's usually, in Peterborough, it's usually around two to three a year.
Okay.
which is 2 to 3 too many.
Yeah.
But fairly static.
Okay. So we are talking to Vicky Crompton from Peterborough City Council about their work with domestic abuse. We have a question of the week this week, and it's a light-hearted one, but a controversial one. What is your favourite thing to have on toast? Call us 01733 602 133, text us 074 119 1062, or comment on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. Thank you. So, Vicky, as part of your role, you organise White Ribbon Day. What is White Ribbon Day and why is it so important?
So the White Ribbon campaign was basically... So we're talking about domestic abuse, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because it is a very gendered issue. It's quite gendered in terms of men being the perpetrators of abuse and then women being subjected to that abuse. And so the whole point of White Ribbon is thinking, actually, this is a men's problem. This shouldn't be a women's problem. This should be a men's problem. Why are men behaving like this? So the White Ribbon, Peterborough City Council are signed up. They're accredited to the White Ribbon. And it's trying to get men to take responsibility for communicating to other men about violence against women and girls and why that's a men's problem and why men should be not confronting, that's the wrong word, but challenging their friends, their neighbours and other men that they come across to behave better. So challenging things like what you might call banter or sexist jokes and things like that, because that's where it all starts.
Interesting. And what are men's responses to this?
So I work in the public sector, so it's largely very, very positive, and they understand why it's important. I think if you went out to other parts of society, it may be slightly different, but I think we have to get those messages started somewhere and have those conversations. And it's about men having those conversations. And it's unheard of for a man to have a show like this where it's men talking about their violence against women and girls. So I think we have got a long way to go before responsibility for addressing domestic abuse and sexual violence sits with the sex or gender that are carrying out those abuses against women and girls.
If you think about it logically, you think 95% of victims of domestic abuse are women and the perpetrators are men. And we at Peterborough Women's Aid we support victims of domestic abuse, and we also do a little bit of prevention work in schools. But it does make you think, if it wasn't for the men, it wouldn't be happening. In the nicest way. I mean, I don't hate men, but that's kind of a fact, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that men really do need to take ownership of that. Is that what this is all about?
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think it's about saying, actually, it's part of a continuum from that banter and those sexist jokes up to domestic homicides and every part in between. But it's how do you have those conversations with your colleagues? How do you have those conversations with your sons? Those sorts of things. Because, it is very gendered, and that's not to say we know that men are victims of domestic abuse, but we also know that a lot of times that they're victims of domestic abuse, it's from another man. It's like a male relative or a same-sex partner. And it gets more gendered the higher risk it gets. So by the time we get to people that are at risk of significant harm or homicide, around 94% of our cases, we've got a female victim. 97% of our MARAT cases, so our serious harm cases, it's male perpetrators. So even where we have male victims, half the time it is also a male perpetrator.
Okay.
But I think it's that people say not all men. You go, fair, it's not all men.
It's not all men.
But in the same way, it's not all sharks and it's not all snakes. You don't know when you see a man whether it will be them or not, because it's so pervasive. So that fear that it could be, you just don't know until sometimes it's too late.
And the White Ribbon campaign is when?
So the White Ribbon Day, White Ribbon campaign, we're doing White Ribbon work all throughout the year, but the actual day is the 25th of November, and that's also the first day of the International Prevention of Violence Against Women and Girls, so it's the 16 days of action. So it all comes sort of the same time in November, and what we tend to do in Peterborough is have a flag raising outside the Town Hall on the 25th of November, invite all our lovely colleagues, but also the Mayor usually gives a speech about why it's important, and it's just a good time to remember actually the roots of the issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, brilliant. So, White Women's Day, 25th of November, sorry, and that coincides with the 16 days of activism, which Peterborough Women's Aid normally does some events for, and this is a national campaign to highlight violence against women and girls and what we can do about it. So, Vicky, I mean, I could be here all day talking about your job because you do a variety of things, don't you? Tell us about domestic abuse champions.
So we have domestic abuse champions across our public sector organisations. So they might be someone in a mental health team or in a housing team that that are sent our newsletter every month. We have a really comprehensive newsletter every month, and also invited every month we have speakers, so online webinars and speakers. And basically it's so that that person in their team knows a little bit more about where to get help, where to get support. So if their colleagues are like, oh, I've come across this issue and there's domestic abuse here, who do I need to call? So it's sort of their phone a friend within a team who knows where their phone a friends are. So they're not necessarily experts in domestic abuse, but they know where to get help. So they've got that little bit more information. So we've got around 350 across Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, but our newsletter goes out to hundreds of professionals every month.
I think sometimes people are more willing to speak to someone that they know, perhaps, rather than perhaps ringing an advice line like ours, for example, and speaking to a stranger. So that could be a really good first point of call.
And I think it's that handover, isn't it? Because what we don't want those champions to be is having to take on some of that really difficult stuff, because that's not what they're trained in. But to go, oh, I know someone you can call. It's like, who's my phone a friend?
Yeah.
And I think partnership working,
and it's the individual having that support from another person then to perhaps make that first call to the helplines.
Absolutely. And none of us can work in isolation. So it's that, where's my phone a friend? Where's the person that knows about this? And so I think that's really, really important to know how those systems work, because they're really complicated.
So if you work in an organisation where you feel it would be beneficial to have a domestic abuse champion, how does someone go about finding out more information?
So you can look on our website. So the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Domestic Abuse Partnership, so it's CAMS with a B, CAMBS, DASV, domestic abuse sexual violence.org.uk. All the information about all of our services are on there, and how you can contact the partnership and get put onto that list and to receive our newsletter and all of those sorts of things.
Okay, fabulous. Other things I want to talk to you about are, we've talked a lot on this show about the experience of children who have experienced domestic abuse, and the work that we do through our Escape project, where we go into schools and we do some therapy work with young people in primary schools, and then we go out and we do some awareness sessions in secondary schools. Oh, going to be on the BBC with that one. Sorry, I should mention that. 15th of October, we're on the BBC.
What, TV or radio?
Telly?
Snap.
Telly.
Ooh, yes. On the One Show?
Not on the One Show. I think we're going to be on Look East. Well, they're filming on the 15th of October to get some feedback from the young people that we've worked with in secondary schools about the project, and they're going to interview the teachers and the students.
Oh, amazing.
To highlight all the fantastic work we're doing, but also the willingness of secondary schools to confront topics like misogyny, sexism, upskirting, whatever. So yeah, that's exciting. Sorry, went off topic there, but
I think it's really important that educating these young people about what a healthy relationship looks like and what isn't healthy within those relationships is really important, because that can help break the cycle.
Yes, definitely. So, Vicky, I was going to ask you, Peterborough City Council, do you fund anything that directly supports children experiencing abuse?
So we fund things like the Refuge and children's support workers within the Refuge. We also fund Embrace, child victims against victims of crime, to do therapeutic work with children and young people. I think there is masses more to be done, but obviously we've got limited funding available, but we try and do what we can. And then, so when we're looking at our really high-risk cases, we're working really closely with our colleagues in children's social care to make sure that those children are safe, and really trying to support the protective parent, which is quite often the mother, is the most important thing for those children. So if we can get mum safe, or dad, if they're the protective parent, if we can get their parents safe and get them in safe housing, or we can provide additional security to their housing so they can stay there safely, we do everything that we can to try and improve the lives of people of those children who are victims of domestic abuse in their own right.
Okay.
You mentioned about making houses safe, Vicky. What do you mean by that?
So we have a service called target hardening. So when we're looking at safety planning, the Peacock project will be able to do it, and our independent domestic violence advisors can do it. So there's a company called Safe Horizons that we work with that can go into homes, help put window alarms in, maybe change locks, and look at additional security for that home. So if the perpetrator isn't allowed to go back there, that we increase the security in that home, because I'm firmly of the belief that where it's safe to do so, people should be able to stay in their own homes. They shouldn't be the ones to have to leave. And if we can increase their chance of leaving and their security so they can stay in those homes, that's absolutely the right thing to do.
And we, through the Peacock project, will have access, won't we, to Safe Horizons? Sorry, they've changed their name. That's why I'm in a pickle.
24/7 locks.
Yeah, and we can refer any client who is with us through the Peacock project to get extra security.
And that can make a massive difference to someone who wants to stay in their own home. Psychologically, it can make them feel so much safer and so much more secure for them and their children.
And I think it's really important to say that we wouldn't offer that on isolation. So just changing your locks isn't really enough. You need all that safety planning behind it and that support to get the right orders in place, for example, help to get benefits so you can afford to stay in that place. It needs to be done in conjunction with our specialist services rather than just a one-off.
Yeah. So it's a full
package
that you get rather than
that package.
So I'm just checking the time, because the Peterborough City Council also provide the IDVA service.
Yes.
And some people may be slightly confused about the difference between having an IDVA and having a support worker through outreach. What is the difference?
So essentially, IDVA is your independent domestic violence advice service. So we are part of the City Council, but they work very independently. They are primarily there to support your really high-risk victims of serious harm or significant harm and homicide. So where we've got people at the highest level of risk, we have a team of 7 IDVAs within the City Council that I manage. They are amazing, that deal with that real crisis intervention, really high risk. So they'll be looking at, actually, does someone need to go to refuge? How can we make security? Working with the police to get non-molestation orders, all of that sort of thing. So yes, they are a really integral part of the system. We receive our referrals from other professionals. I think it's really, really important having an outreach service that people don't need to go to the police or another agency to try and get that help. It's really important. But what the Peacock project will do is, if someone comes to them, you'll do your risk assessment, and if you look at it and go, oh, this is really, really, really bad, then what you will do is refer it onwards. So you'd be that professional link, refer it onwards for that IDVA support for the ones at most highest risk of significant harm.
And I think it's really important for all clients to know, isn't it, that if you are, say, for example, you come through the Peacock project and you have a support worker and you have that really strong, trusting relationship with that worker, if their assessment of your risk is that it is quite high and we refer to the IDVA service, it's not that your support worker who you have that trusting relationship isn't going to support you anymore. No. So we work very closely with the IDVA service. Sometimes we co-work cases, we get advice from them if it's high risk, what kind of things should we put in place. But if that, and it goes the same way, if that trust is there with your support worker, we are not just going to pass you on to somebody else. It's all about joint working and making sure that you feel safe.
It's making sure it's client focused. So what does the client need? What's best for the client? And how can we keep the client as safe and as on board as we possibly can? And like the Peacock project, our service won't be telling anyone what to do. We'll give people their options and say you can do this and this, but it's absolutely their choice. They've been controlled by the person abusing them. We're not going to turn into someone else that's trying to control them.
Okay,
right. And the same for both services. They are both completely confidential. That information is not shared with anyone else.
So, Vicky, we're coming to the end of the show, believe it or not, which is like
quick.
flown by. But I want to ask you one very quick question.
Go on.
If you could change anything about the work that you do, what would it be? What would you like a dream?
Oh my goodness, now you're asking. There's so much there, isn't there? I think we really need to improve the court system and the police system so that people can get justice faster, because sometimes it takes too long to get that justice. I think my other dream would be that anyone can get legal aid, not just the poorest, but that anyone that needs it gets the access to free legal advice.
Oh, I love this. Justice faster, free legal aid. I think probably Sue and I would have said near enough the same thing if we'd asked. So we're coming to the end of the show. We've had an amazing show today. I mean, I feel I know so much about what to put on my toast. It's just been amazing. But we've
all these ideas for lunch.
We've had some great